Alright, today we're going to make some hot cross buns. I'm going to show you how you can make some hot cross buns from start to finish. Alright, I've already laid out all my ingredients. So we have a pint of milk with essence. We have 600 grams or 6 grams, sorry, of fennel seeds, all crushed, because sometimes some people don't like the seeds itself. So what I did, I just crushed them up. We have 250 grams of sugar. We have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cardamom, and half a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of salt, and we have here 2 teaspoons of yeast, chopped up raisins. We chopped up raisins with milk, and that's 100 grams of raisins, and we have 200 grams of butter. All right, and some additional 2 eggs and some additional flour for when we're doing the dough. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to show you exactly how I put them all together. So from here we will add the yeast. So you just sprinkle the yeast all the way around. So we sprinkle the yeast in. So we have self-rising flour. So at the moment we have about 1.5 kilograms of self-rising flour there, along with an extra 500 grams of self-rising flour. So we sprinkle the salt in, and I'm going to place the mixture of the cardamom along with nutmeg, and then we place the sugar in. So we want them a little bit more sweet. It depends on how sweet you want it. And we also just sprinkle the fennel seeds in. The fennel seed just gives it that aroma. Alright, so you have a really nice aroma. And then what we're going to do here is just bring it all in, just mix the dry ingredients in. So from the dry ingredients, after we mix the dry ingredients in, what we'll do is bring the butter into play. Alright, so we're going to crush the butter up, as you can see here. So just going to put it all in. So put it in, just drop it in there. Then just within your fingers, just crush the butter along with the flour. So what you're doing, you're just mincing it up and dispersing it, spreading it out along the flour mixture. Right. So from here, once you're satisfied that your butter is all mixed, so the butter just gives it a little bit more fluff when you baking. On the outside it will be a little bit more crisp on the outside of your whatever you're baking when you're using butter. Alright, I also have my kettle already like lukewarm with about 6 cups of water. However, you're not going to need 6 cups of water, but it's good to have the extra. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to make a nice paste. So with a pint of milk and our essence, alright, we're going to pour it in the center. So we'll pour it in the center, and then we'll add the egg and so we'll pour all the milk, and then we'll add the raisins. I almost forgot what I was saying there. And then we pour the egg in. What we're going to do now is just start bringing this in. Just mix it up with a hand. If you have a mixer, you can do that as well. Alright, you can do that with a mixer. However, not many people have mixers. So I'll show you how to do it by hand. So this is now 1 more pint of water. Just pour that in. because you have additional flour as well. Alright, so the purpose of the additional flour is that after you make your paste and you start pouring the flour, it's also a good practice to have extra flour on hand as well, because sometimes you overdo it with the liquid. Okay, so it's always good. So if you notice there, I'm just making a paste with my hand, right? And I don't want any flour to be left over. I want it, because I don't want it to be dry. You just put a bit more water in, right? So that's almost 2 pints of water, 2 pints of liquid. Okay, so you mix that in, and if you notice, the reason why I said keep extra liquid for in case you don't have enough, keep extra flour rather. Right, so let's make sure it's coming in nicely. And I also like to take this time to say thanks to my youngest of 9-year-old, who's at the moment doing the filming. She's doing a really fantastic job. Alright, so just mix that in, and that's coming in really nicely, like a nice lovely paste. And also what you need to do is to keep because we're going to make hot cross buns, so I'll have some plain flour in order to do the cross. So you make a paste, and I'll show you that later on. So now that's coming in really, really lovely. Just keep kneading that in, and then you're gonna keep adding your flour. As the dry flour disappears, you keep adding more flour. And then if your hands get a little bit too sticky, what you will do is to remove the mixture from your hand, and then you would flour your fingers after, and that would help you to have more control as you knead the dough. So from here, just clean my hands off. I'm gonna sprinkle it on my hand and sprinkle it around, spread it around the dough. Then I'm gonna keep the flour within my hand, then grab the dough from underneath, from the bottom of the dish, right? As you flour the dish itself and flour the dough, pull it in, and then makes it easier for you to knead the dough, so the dough doesn't stick to your hand, and it makes it a lot more easier to manage. All right, let's clean this side of the bowl. Just bring that in like so. All right, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do. Some people find it daunting to knead flour, but practice actually, because I was doing stuff like this since I was 10 years old. I can remember my first time baking. I started using a pan, like one of those milk pan like you get. I made my own oven, and I used to watch my mother as well a lot to see how she do her thing, and that's where I picked up a lot of my kitchen skills from. Alright, so it's good to teach your kids. Alright, so now I'm very dependable. Always got to depend on myself. Yeah, I don't need to be I could be very independent, rather, not dependable, independent in terms of the kitchen. Alright, so it's a very good skill to have. Alright, could be very impressive. Okay, so I think we might need a little bit more flour. Hence the reason why I said when you're baking, you always keep extra on hand. Alright, because this is still soft. Because one of the other things we want to do as well is make sure that your dough isn't too hard. because if not it comes out a little bit more dry. And in a case like this, you want this to be nice and soft. Alright, you want it to be nice and soft. So you're gonna knead the dough until it stops sticking to your fingers. Alright, so we're gonna carry on doing that. Okay, so we are almost there with our flour, with our dough. So just sprinkle a bit more flour. Alright, and you notice you start coming in where it's not sticking to my hands as much or to my fingers as much. Alright, so you don't want to ram it either. Alright, you want some air inside of it. You don't want to ram it, just gently folding it over. So you need, and just push your finger in. So you just push your finger in a bit. But you don't want to just ram it down like you're pushing all the air out of it. Alright, because at the end of the day, you're going to want some air in order to, as it proves. Okay, so it's almost there. What I'm looking for is a nice smooth texture on the outside. Alright, it's not going to be as smooth as if you're doing it within a mixer, but because of the amount that I want to get from here, I'll use, I think the mixer is not as big as I would like it to be. Right, so this is now becoming nice and smooth the way I want it to be. So at the end of, by the time I finish kneading this, then what we're going to do is let it sit for about an hour and a half and prove. So the yeast, sometimes you just basically you can add it to your milk and just set it up beforehand, but this is dry yeast, it's fast acting. So because I know some people have traditional way of doing their yeast, right? But for me, I actually never really set yeast aside. I just pour it right in and away I go, because I have other things to do. But it does work, and we're gonna let this prove. We're gonna move out there now. So it does take a while, because you get it kneaded properly. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. All right. And then if you have your kids, you have kids and stuff, you gotta let them help and play with it though. You know, ensure they wash your hands first though. All right. So what we're gonna do now, it's still a bit wet on the inside, not too wet, because I don't want them to dry out. So what we're gonna do from here, just gonna let that sit and prove for some time. To sprinkle a little bit of flour so it doesn't dry out too much, and then cover it with a towel, and then we'll come back after it's proved and cut it out and start making some dough, and I'll figure out how many I can get from it. So it's a wonderful day. Enjoy, keep baking. Alright, so now our dough is proven. So what we're going to do is align the pans. Okay, so I've placed some greaseproof paper within the pan. I've put some butter at the bottom of it and then butter on the side. So because I can't be asked to line the whole thing, what I'm going to do is flour the side of the pan. Alright, so it's floured on the side. And we're going to do it over the surface. Alright, so we do it over the surface on which we are going to roll our buns. Okay. So on the side again, just give it a tap, let the flour just evenly distribute all the way around on the side of the pan. So what you're trying to do here is to stop the bun from sticking to the side of the pan. Okay. So that's done. Remove the towel, and see we have our dough ready, nice and proven. So it's kind of double in size. So we're gonna do it. What we're gonna do now, just put a little more flour on the surface, right? Because we're gonna cut them out individually. Okay, just put some flour on your hands, and then you want about that size. So your knife needs to be nice and sharp as well. Try and get them as even as possible. smelling so lovely already. So you keep flour in your hands as you keep cutting away. As I said earlier on, the dough should be a bit soft on the inside, or a bit more wet on the inside, so it gives you your soft bun, and you don't have your dough is not too dry. Just keep cutting those away. So I hope that you find it easy, you find this video rather interesting, and you've liked or willing to try some or one of my recipe. Just please go ahead and just give it a like or something, and click on the link below and subscribe, because trust me, there are a lot more interesting things coming out, especially now that the sun is coming out. We would be doing some barbecue. I make a mean barbecue sauce, right, which I could show you people how to do, but we'll see. Not too sure we'll see. Alright, so you get in there, get some more flour on my hand. Let's cut this on. So once we finish cutting these out, we're going to make them into like nice little ball. That's what we're going to do from here. Just keep your hands nicely floured, so the dough doesn't stick to your fingers as much. Bring them in. Try to get it nice and round as possible as you can. Just give it a tap down, right, and then you place it into your pan. We're gonna go ahead and make this all out, and then we'll come back. Alright, because now that you know exactly how to put them together or to roll them out, there's no point me wasting your time. So there you go. There, nice and lovely. Tap it down, place it in your pan. Some are going to be bigger than others, because after all, it's homemade, and I'm not a machine, neither are you, unless you want to weigh them all out. If you're a perfectionist, then by all means. But my saying is, they only go in one place. Alright, but at the moment, we're not judging display here. So when you place them in your pan, you want to keep a little space. So you want to keep some almost even space, okay? Because what's going to happen, they're going to prove again, all right? And you want to give them room to expand, all right? So I'm giving them room to expand. Then we'll see you again in a minute, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back. So we have made our bun, our hot cross buns. We've prepared the crosses, all right? We'll lay the cross. Now they've proven to satisfactory level, right? Because I think time is getting on, so I'm ready to eat the hot cross bun. My tummy is rumbling anyway. So this is what you're looking for, about that size, all right? Now we're gonna place them in the oven for probably about half an hour or so, until they are golden brown. I'm gonna take them out, then dust them with some sugar, like very sweet syrup, if you like, sugar syrup. Okay, so without any further ado, let's nip these into the oven, and then we are gonna come back in about half an hour. Oh yeah, and your stove, your oven, probably want to be on the 150, which is probably about 5 on your gas, and that should do. Sometimes I like to turn the heat down a bit, give them a bit more time, because I don't like my dough to be a little bit too soft on the inside. So I turn the stove down, turn the oven down to probably about 100, after they've risen, okay, for after about 10-20 minutes or so, after they've risen, then you turn the stove down after about 20 minutes, about 100 or level 4, on depending on what stove you have, and that would basically help them to bake a little bit more better on the inside. All right, and they're not too brown on the outside. Right, just a little tip for you. See you in a minute. Okay, so our buns are almost done. I just take them out, put them in the cooling rack. Got the other one. That's about half an hour inside. Then all we're gonna do is pop the rest of it, pop the others in. Then from here we are just going to let it cool on the cooling rack. So cool away. Very hot, so be careful with your hands. There you go. Now done. Now we're gonna put some dressing on the top and we'll sort it. Right, so from here now I have a fair amount of sugar. Right, so you just place some sugar inside of a bowl, a cup, right, with some water, not too much water. So what I want is like a really good syrup, like a really sweet syrup with a bit of essence, just to add a bit more flavor to it, because by now I think you know I'm a guy of flavor. All right, so what we're gonna do now is just give that a little whip around and then dab the bun, not too heavy. So we're gonna dab the bun, give it a nice shine out texture and a sweet taste. And also what you're also doing as well is stop it from drying out as well. Just give us a nice wipe. And I'm trying to like dip the brush all the way to the bottom, so I want a little bit of a sugar residue on the top of the bun as well. Right, it just makes it a little bit more nice and presentable, and it gives it that attractive look. Alright, so we're gonna do that all the way, get them all done before I enjoy nibbling on these scrumptious bun. And that's how you make the perfect hot cross buns at home. Hot cross buns 101. Okay, so please enjoy making your hot cross buns. If you ever need any help or have any questions, feel free to drop me a message or even comment on the video below, and I'll sure do respond. Okay, and we're gonna do that all the way along. Alright, so I hope you enjoy making hot cross buns, or at least give it a try. And please subscribe for all the other videos to come. Alright, or if you're looking at this on Facebook or whatever, go over to YouTube and check out the process of making hot cross buns. Alright, see you soon.